Good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Stephanie, and I'm here to welcome you to this Tuesday's edition of Let's Talk Tuesday. It is sponsored by Floyd Lee Locums. I hope everybody is having a great Tuesday. It's been a while. I feel like it's been a while since I've been talking to my Facebook family, but as you all know, I've been busy on a couple of locums assignments. And so I'm just now getting back into town and kind of getting back into the swing of things. So I'm excited to talk with you all tonight about some things. So let's go ahead and get started. But before we get started, I do need a couple of favors. If you are joining me live, let me know. Just say hi. Let me know where you're joining me from. If you are watching this on replay, type replay. If you like one of my comments, press the like button. If you love it, press the love button. Please be sure to share this Facebook Live as you see fit and to tag people in it who you think can benefit from the information. So like I said, this is our edition of this Tuesday's edition of Let's Talk Tuesday, and it is sponsored by Floyd Lee Locums, which is a fabulous locums company. So one of the things we are going to spend some time talking about is the locums mindset, how to make locums work for you. And the reason why this is so important is because whenever I talk to physicians who have made the decision to do locums, at first they're really excited about it because they're excited about regaining control of their career and, having some new opportunities and to kind of be the boss of their own career and their own profession. But oftentimes that newfound excitement kind of changes into a little fear and a little disappointment as they go on in the locums process. And, they get a little disappointed because they may not have been able to find the types of assignments that they want to find, or they're a little frustrated with the process. And when I kind of dig deeper and talk to these doctors, I find out that the main problem is it's their mindset and how they approach doing locums work. So we're going to take a couple of minutes on this Let's Talk Tuesday and talk about the locums mindset and how to make locums work for you. This is the most important thing that you need to remember about locums work. Locums work is temporary, so don't act like it's permanent. Exactly. Locums work is temporary. Do not act like it's permanent. Do not act like your locums job is a permanent job. So what do I mean by that? Locum tenens literally means placeholder. And when you are in a locums job, you are a placeholder. You are there until they can find somebody else to fill the position permanently. So that means you cannot take a permanent job mindset into a temporary position. And for a lot of my doctors who are transitioning from a permanent job to a locums job, this is a huge mindset shift. On your permanent job, you tend to take things a little more personally. You tend to be more vested into how things are run, how things are going. You tend to be more conscious of whether or not people like you, people don't like you, because you're in a long-term relationship. You're in a permanent job. But when you're in a locums job, it's not long-term, it's temporary. So all of that stuff, you need to kind of put it on the back burner because it's not important. The only thing that you are there to do as a locums physician is to do your job, which is to provide the standard of care within the situation that you are working. You're not there to change the world. You're not there to go into a facility to start working for a client and revolutionize things. That's not what you're there for. You are a placeholder. You are a warm body to fill a shift. I was actually told that one time when I was doing some locums work moonlighting years ago back in Pittsburgh. And the guy was like, listen, we have a whole bunch of shifts to fill. We don't have enough intensivists to do it. Basically, you're a warm body to fill the shift. And guess what? I appreciated him telling me that because right then and there, that let me know where I stood. And I was okay with that. So you have to really look at locums work as being temporary work so that you don't bring a permanent mindset into a temporary position. The other thing that you always need to do, realize when you are a locums doctor, is that it's okay to look. Your job as a locums doctor is to always be looking for your next locums job. Period. Because going back to the first point, locums work is temporary. It is temporary. That means it's going to come to an end. Don't act like it's permanent. Don't act like this locums assignment is going to extend forever. And I don't care, even if you are in a locums assignment that's supposed to be long term, you know that they will schedule you for as long as they need you, but then they can cancel your assignment when they don't need you anymore. So there really is no such thing as a long-term temporary assignment, because all of your assignments as a locums doctor are temporary. So your next job, your second job, is to always look for your next job, and it's okay to look. And so why do I bring this up? It's because so many times when we're working as locums, we have that one company, that one recruiter that just keeps giving us great jobs. I mean, and we found a good working relationship. And then when the other recruiters are calling you, you feel like you're cheating on your current recruiter. But guess what? Your current recruiter is talking to dozens of physicians every week to make sure that those physicians fill their jobs. So therefore, you as a locums doctor need to be talking to multiple recruiters every week to make sure that you always have jobs coming down the pike. So we got to kind of shift this mindset. Like I said, locums is temporary, and you always need to look for another position. And so we have to really kind of get out of this sense of allegiance to one particular company and one particular recruiter, because your job as a locums doctor, in addition to doing your job as a locums doctor, is to find your next job as a locums doctor. So it's okay to look. It's always a good idea to be looking for your next assignment. And the other thing that we're going to have to talk about in terms of a locums mindset is being willing to travel. Hit the road, Jack. Being willing to travel for locums. And this is the reason that this is so important. Most locums opportunities are in places that are underserved, places that have a difficult time recruiting and retaining physicians. And sometimes those are places that may require you to travel, but these are oftentimes the places with the best opportunities. Now, you may not have to travel far depending on where you live. You may be able to travel, it's just out of town within driving distance, but being willing to travel for locums is something that's going to drastically increase your chances of being successful as a locums doctor. So, when you start talking to these recruiters and they say, hey, I've got a great locums opportunity that may be right up your alley, but this locums opportunity is in another state. Your permanent mindset, when you're thinking as a permanent employee, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to move. I don't want to move. But as a locums doctor, of course you don't have to move. The locums company will fly you to the location, and they'll fly you back. They'll put you up there. They'll provide the travel accommodations. So you may, as a locums doctor, you need to travel for your assignments, but you don't have to relocate for your assignments. So you go, you travel to your assignment, you work your assignment, and you come home. It really is that simple. And y'all, let's be honest. If you had plenty of opportunities where you are currently living, you probably wouldn't need to do locums in the first place, because we all know that when we leave jobs for whatever reason, that no compete clause is a real what, and that no compete clause may prohibit you from being able to do any kind of work within a certain mile radius for a certain length of time, and that may make staying local kind of difficult for a while. So therefore, if you're willing and able to travel for your locums assignments, that will drastically increase your success as a locums doctor. So it's all a mindset shift. It's all about a mindset shift. Those are the things, some of the things that we were just so hung up on. And even myself, I was so hung up on a couple of these things. But then, part of my ability to be successful as a locums doctor is that I had to just switch my mindset to being one as a temporary doctor who provides a good service when that service is needed. And then when that service is no longer needed in that particular area, we move on. But because I talk to multiple recruiters on a regular basis, I'm always looking for my next assignment. I always have a next assignment. One of the other things that we have to do in order to shift our mindset as a locums doctor is that we have to manage our expectations. One of the best pieces of advice I got from a locums recruiter was this. He says, Dr. Freeman, there is a reason you are there. And I remember this so vividly because I was on a locums assignment and I was like, oh my God, these people do not have their stuff together. So I was just so frustrated about how things were running. And I was like, I can't take this. I just can't take this. So I called my recruiter and said, this is what's going on, and this is what's going on, and this is what's going on. And my recruiter said to me, Dr. Freeman, if the place had everything together, you wouldn't need to be there. And I was like, oh, which is true. If everything was running at the client's place, then they wouldn't need locums doctors. And because you're there means that there's a reason you're there, whether or not it's because there's issues with staffing, issues with recruiting, issues with retention. Maybe some doctors left. Maybe, there's been a delay in which they are being able to recruit new physicians. Maybe there's a management problem. You just don't know, but you will know when you get there. And because of the fact that you need to go there, that you just automatically know that there are going to be some things that are not going to run as planned. So just manage your expectations. Bring your expectations down a lot so that you won't be disappointed and you won't be shocked, because some places are truly doing the best they can. And like I said, if you didn't need to be there, you wouldn't need to be there. So manage your expectations. And along with managing your expectations in terms of shifting your mindset so that you have this great locums mindset, so that you can have your locums lifestyle and your locums work for you, is to don't sweat the small stuff. Do not sweat the small stuff. Because if you do, you're going to drive yourself crazy. If you are a control freak that needs to be in control of every aspect of everything in your life, doing locums will drive you crazy. But this is the reason why. In order to do locums, it is a very complex process in which a lot of moving parts have to come together, and all the pieces have to fit, and things have to fit together at the right time. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of organization, and it takes a lot of people working on multiple ends to get things just to line up. And because there's so many moving parts that have to align, some stuff is going to get missed. Some things are going to fall through the cracks, but eventually things are going to come together, because at the end of the day, your locums company wants you to work, the client needs you to work, and you want to work. So all three of those components are going to come together to make things work. But in the process, you got to get to the point that you don't sweat the small stuff. Because if you do, you're going to be frustrated. So, taking all of these things into consideration, these are just some of the points and the mindset, suggestions that I have taken into consideration over the years of me doing locums, which has really, made locums a great thing for me. So, just to recap, locums work is temporary. Don't act like it's permanent. Don't take a permanent mindset into a temporary position. You're there to do your job within the confines of the environment, provide the best care for the patient that you know that you can provide, and go home. You're not there to revolutionize the way they practice medicine. You're not there to change the world. You're not there to change them. You're not there to change the organization. You're there to just do your job. And that's why you are there. So it's locums work is temporary. Don't act like it's permanent. And I don't care if you're on a long-term temporary assignment, a long-term long-term locums assignment is still locums. It's still temporary. You still haven't signed a permanent contract. So don't act like you have when you haven't. The other thing to remember is it's okay to look. You always need to look for your next job. Your second job as a locums doctor is to be looking for your next job as a locums doctor. It's okay to look. It's okay to talk to multiple recruiters from multiple companies. That is how you are always a step ahead in terms of having locums jobs scheduled 3-6 months down the pipe. It's okay to look. So don't feel like you're cheating on your recruiter when you're talking to your other recruiter, because you're not, because your job is to find your next job. Hit the road, Jack. Be willing to travel for locums. You may not have to go across country, but you may have to, travel out of town within driving distance. Being willing to travel any kind of distance really makes your ability to find consistent locums work much easier, and you'll be more successful at the game. The other thing is, be sure to manage your expectations. There's a reason you're there. If the client had everything together, they wouldn't need you. So therefore, be sure just to manage your expectations. Take your expectations down a notch so that you aren't disappointed and frustrated. And because when you're disappointed and frustrated, that comes across to the client, that comes across to the people that you're working with, and that's not something that you want to happen. And like I said, don't sweat the small stuff. Lots of moving pieces have to come together in order for you to start working as a locums doctor. Just control the things that you can control. Make sure that you do what you need to do on your part in terms of submitting all your applications, submitting all your paperwork, being responsive to the locums company, being responsive to the needs of the client. That's what you can control. You can't control what happens on the back end. You can't control what happens in terms of the locums company. You can't control what happens on the part of the client. You can only control you. And so be sure that you can, whatever you have in your control is whatever you control. Everything else, you can't worry about it. So don't sweat it. But I want you guys who are interested in doing locums to visit FloydLeeLocums.com, www.FloydLeeLocums.com. Floyd Lee Locums is a concierge locums company. And what that means is that their staff prides themselves on providing top-notch, first-rate concierge services to their physicians. Hi, Dr. Kristen, how are you? To make sure that your locums experience from start to finish is a good experience. So visit www.floydleelocums.com. And one of the things that we've started doing on the episodes of Let's Talk Tuesday is to talk about some of the hot jobs that are available at Floyd Lee Locums. And so if you guys want more information about those jobs, go to www.floydleelocums.com. And also, you can find those jobs listed in my Facebook group, Creating Careers in Medicine, under the hashtag Job Alert and Working Wednesdays. And these upcoming jobs will be posted tomorrow. So if you are an orthopedic traumatologist with a North Carolina license, there's a locums opportunity for you. Or if you guys know any orthopedic surgeons with a North Carolina license, Floyd Lee Locums has an excellent locums opportunity. If you are an intensivist with an Ohio license, interested in doing some locums work, contact Floyd Lee Locums. For my hospitalist, there's a great nocturnist locums position in South Carolina. For my pediatric anesthesiologist, there's a hot position in Illinois. For my primary care physicians working in California, Floyd Lee Locums has a great job for you there. And they also have a great job for a stroke neurologist in North Carolina with a North Carolina license. So like I said, these are some of the hot jobs that they have. Like I said, just visit www.floydleelocums.com for more information. And I hope you all enjoyed this broadcast. But like I said, being successful as a locums doctor is all about having that right locums mindset, because we want locums work to work for you. I am Dr. Stephanie. Thank you for joining me, and we will talk soon. Bye-bye.